Good morning. Welcome to Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren's celebration of Pastor Katie's ministry. I'm Nevin Doolbaum. I'm the chair of the celebration committee, and the other members are in the program. And I'm also running video today, so pardon the running back and forth. This is going to be a great celebration of Pastor Katie's leadership. A number of people will speak today about you, Pastor Katie. And what was so awesome for me to reach out to these folks is the response that they gave. Everyone was excited to speak on your behalf and about you. And that's because of the person that you are. Indeed, this fun time of celebration will show you what you mean to so many people. Following the closing music by the choir, we invite you all who are here to immediately go downstairs for the time of fellowship. And there will be a time to pass a microphone around for people to speak. If you don't get a chance to speak, let me know, and I'm glad to take you, and we will give it to Pastor Katie with everything else that we're going to be giving to her. But before I get started, I would be remiss if we didn't mention Parker and your boys, Noam and Gabriel. During the 9+ years that you have served as our pastor, there were no doubt times that when you needed your family's support. There were most likely hours when they wanted your attention, but you were writing a sermon, attending a meeting, visiting someone in the hospital, or taking care of someone in the congregation. The point is, your husband and children have been part of your family support system. So to the three of you, Parker, and to your children, we want to thank you and acknowledge your support that has helped Pastor Katie be the fantastic pastor that she's been. We are glad to hear that you three intend to be part of the church, so this is not a goodbye. This is a thank you. It's a thank you for providing support to your spouse and to your children's mother as she faithfully supported this congregation. It could have not always been easy, which makes our thanks all the more heartfelt to you. Pastor Katie, I was excited when you came to Highland Avenue because the scouting report that I received from a search committee said that you bring the Bible alive by relating how the scriptures pertain to everyday life. I was also told that you were a compassionate person who would serve our congregation well. And over the next few years as a general member and as a board member, I learned that. I found both points to be true. Fantastic sermons, compassion for people here and in the community, and the owner of one of the joyously infectious laughs I have ever heard. And I witnessed through the illnesses of our mother, Pauline, and our good friend, Wally, how you were so wonderful and meaningfully there as a support presence with us during those really awful times. Thank you. These experiences alone gave me a well-rounded impression of who you are, but it was through adversity that we really got to know each other. 3 weeks after COVID started, I unexpectedly became the board chair and was tasked with you and Jim Wayman, and then with Christy Brockway and many other church leaders to keep this organization going through uncertain times. We experienced some fantastically positive highs together, and we struggled through some incredible lows. But without a doubt, there was no one else with whom I would have wanted to walk those 2 years with than you. You were a safe space and a trusted partner committed to serving this church. During the COVID, we as a church learned how to stream our service like we're doing today, as you mentioned in your sermon in January. And there was a moment from those early broadcast days that sticks with me. The sanctuary was nearly empty. Only you, Jonathan on piano, and Jim and I were here. Because we are in essence producing a television program, I placed a red light, and you can see it on the screen, beside each camera to show you which camera was on at any particular time, so you knew which camera to look at. One sermon you were preaching to camera 2, which is right down there on the balcony. But I thought your face was kind of washed out, so I wanted to switch over to camera 3, which is over on that side of the balcony. I didn't know what you would do. Would that throw you off? Would you be frustrated with me that I interrupted your preaching and thought and sentence? Or were you so focused on the message that you wouldn't even notice and would keep looking at camera 2, even though I was using camera 3? I had no idea what you would do. When that light changed from camera 2 to camera 3, you gave no indication that you even noticed. And then you glanced down from the camera to your notes. And when you looked back up, you looked right at camera 3. It was as if we had it planned. And the many meaningful things that you have done here at Highland Avenue, this is not one of them. And yet, I was so impressed. It was a stressful time, and we were under so much pressure. And that moment spotlighted that you are attentive, unflappable, adaptable, poised, compassionate, supportive, and grace-filled. You don't get flustered. You have a positive attitude, and you move on. It was a microcosm of all the skills and gifts that you have brought to this church and to this community, all wrapped up in that brief, seemingly insignificant moment. Pastor Katie, with all your skills and compassion and leadership, you have been a gift to this church. Our lives are much richer having spent these years with you. As you prepare for a new season in your life, you will be sorely missed, fondly remembered, and we will consider you a friend, as we now will simply call you Katie. Blessings to you.
Katie, I happen to know what the other people are going to be saying this morning because I edited the video. I want to highlight some things that I want to ensure we don't leave out. First, a word about your laugh. Now, Nevin already mentioned it. I think we might almost call it a cackle. It's a rich, hilarity-filled burst of sound. And you know I'm also always here in the sanctuary early because I do the sound in PowerPoint. And I always know when you're in the house. I would say it's a great plus to have a pastor who knows how to laugh. Now, as you know, I was chair of the search committee the committee that found you and brought you here. So I've always had a big stake in your success in this congregation. And I knew we were on the right track when I learned that you had said to Ivester, your first parish, and Ivester is a dynamic rural church in Iowa farm country. You were excited about that church, and you had an excellent time with them, but you told them right from the beginning that what you really wanted was to serve an urban church. But I wondered at the time whether we would be urban enough. I didn't know quite what that meant for you. You remember you said you wanted to serve where you could walk around and talk to the baristas. I knew at the time that we only had 2 in Elgin, but I always thought there was some poetic justice in the fact that Parker eventually became one of the baristas at our beloved Arabica, which is where you spent many pastoral lunches. Katie, you believe in bicycles. Parker, you ran a bike shop. The 2 of you went everywhere on your bike, Katie, and the 2 of you bought bikes designed to carry children and packages. You sort of had the SUV of bicycles. But I believe that your biking did more than save the environment. It gave you a street-level view of Elgin. Now, our pastors have always been community-oriented. It's one of the marks of our congregation and our pastoral leadership. People deeply involved, but you have had a grittier view. We all know that bike riders are not always treated well. And you saw your share of the roughness of the streets. And your connection to the streets will continue in your new work with PADS. Now, sometime in the search process, I asked you what you would do if you could do anything you wanted to. And you said you would carry in a fiery torch and light a fire. I tried to picture that with a portable fire pit here in the sanctuary. And I think we actually did that out in the parking lot one time. But I think it's a good thing to have a pastor who wants to carry a torch and light a fire. Now, Katie, we have all been bending over backwards to be nice to you and glad for you. But frankly, I am not happy to see you go. I felt you were uniquely fitted for this era of Highland Avenue. And for me, your ministry is not yet completed. I understand that PADS is a calling, and I've had times myself when I've left something before the work was finished. So this is not a speech against what you have done. It's an acknowledgement that callings sometimes have unintended consequences. And for us, that is that we needed more of your ministry. So when we say we will miss you, we don't just mean your gentle spirit, your thoughtful reflections, your caring manner, your wisdom, your humor, and yes, even your cackle. We mean that we will have to go on in this work without you before we are ready for that. Now, Katie, you know how much we all love you, and you know that you go with our blessing. You can feel it in this group, in this day. And we are delighted that though this calling takes you away as our minister, it will not take you away as our friend. That's a real blessing. So you go with our prayers and with our deep gratitude. Mary and Anna are going to share something for the young and young at heart.
Would the children come forward? I had one hand. Of course, I would drop the microphone. Mic drop. Please come forward. Pastor Katie, would you also come forward? Have a seat. Wouldn't just wait. So we wanted to follow through with this theme. We didn't realize it was such a great theme, but we have a story for you that is just for you and for our connections to you that Anna is going to read. And this book came to us. Noelle Dulabambor, in all of her work, had recommended this book, and wouldn't you know, it's a very similar theme. Anna's going to read it for us today. The name of it is The Invisible String by Patrice Carcy.
The Invisible String. It's the same book.
It's not quite. I know. It's a little different. It's a little different.
Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed. "We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know, we're always together no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. "I was about your age when my Mommy first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see this invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But you can't see it. How do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school, love travels all the way along the string until I feel the tug in my heart. And when you tug it back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "She sure does," Mom said. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends too. How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I was in a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," Mom said, "even there." "Or a mountain climber? Even there. A dancer in France? Even there. A jungle explorer? Even there. How about an astronaut out in space? Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" "Yes, even there." "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," Mom said. "Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movies to see, or what games to play in the back seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed." And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see no one's ever alone.
And Pastor Katie, that book is for you to keep. This is our story to you and to show our connections. The young and young at heart here have a gift that they're going to place in this bowl for you to keep and to remember all of the string and the love and the connections that we have with you, and that you will remember all of us here at Highland Avenue. Would you like to give your gifts now? thank you for all of you who have given the gift of love, and for all the love and the gifts that you have given to us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt Gwynn, Co-Executive Director of On Earth Peace, and I'm happy to be able to take a moment to say thank you to you, Katie. I have so much enjoyed being a colleague in ministry with you over the last decade plus, a conversation partner about nonviolence and social change and church leadership. As we've talked about the realities in Elgin and with Highland Avenue and imagined programs and ministries, and as On Earth Peace has developed the 1,000 Brethren Kingian Nonviolence Training Project, you've been along for the ride since the beginning. So I'm going to miss you, and I'm going to miss the conversations that we've had in this particular way as partners in ministry, but I look forward to continuing to connect with you as a Kingian trainer and as part of this large family that we're a part of as we go through life together.
Hi, this is Annabeth Reschley, Director of the Brethren Mennonite Council for LGBT Interests and coordinator of our Supportive Communities Network. I extend warm greetings and gratitude on behalf of BMC to you, Pastor Katie, for your vibrant ministry with Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren. I have fond memories of visiting there with you all in October of 2023 at your invitation, Katie. Digging into conversation about queer and trans justice and inclusion, and about how your congregation continues to live that out. And you welcomed me so warmly into your home for lunch, Katie and family, filling the table with nourishing food and people. That's an image that I hold on to as I've experienced your ministry. Warm hospitality, inviting spirit. We have been blessed by that spirit of yours on SCN Zoom gatherings and in BMC spaces at annual conference, and I trust you will continue to let that spirit shine in this next season of life and ministry. Blessings of easeful transition to you, Pastor Katie, and to you, Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren.
I'm Liz Ullery Swenson, and I'm the pastor for Wildwood Gathering in Olympia, Washington. I don't remember the first time we met, but I do remember being in the Tampa Convention Center in 2015 and listening to you preach. And I remember being impressed and thankful for your presence and your sermon that day. And I continue to be impressed and thankful by your leadership and your ministry in the church, and impressed and thankful for your authenticity and your realness and the way that you live into being a pastor and a parent, but mostly as a person. And I'm thankful for the ways that you have shared that experience and that realness and that wisdom with our youngish clergy women's group over the years. I'm proud of all that you are doing and all that you are and all that you are becoming. As we say each week at Wildwood, you are exactly as you are and exactly as you are becoming, whole and holy. And I didn't realize it until I went back and listened to that 2015 sermon, but you used that phrase in it, and apparently it stuck with me because it has become something of a tagline for Wildwood over the years. So thank you for that as well. Highland Avenue community, thank you for all the ways that you have supported and cared for Katie over these years. I continue to be impressed and thankful for all of the work that you have done together. I'm sending you prayers and holding you in prayers as you navigate this transition, and I'm excited and looking forward to what comes next for you all. Katie, my friend, sending you love and prayers and blessings today, and I wish I was there in person. I owe you an old-fashioned next time we get together.
Hi, I'm Walt Wilczek, and I serve as District Executive Minister for the Church of the Brethren, Illinois, Wisconsin District. Katie, I have not had the privilege to get to know you as well as the folks at Highland Avenue, but I have certainly seen enough myself and heard many stories of appreciation to know how many gifts you bring, what a caring heart you bring, and how well you do what you have been called to do there. I wish I could say that you're not allowed to leave, but I would never hold you from God's call for you or from your dreams. And so I hope this next chapter is wonderful. Whether you bring poetic prose or a prophetic presence or a deeply caring heart, you have done incredibly good work, good ministry, and good being with the people that God has called you to shepherd during this past decade. So on behalf of the Illinois-Wisconsin District, thank you. Thank you for your work at Highland Avenue. Thank you for representing us on Standing Committee this past year. Thank you for serving as a mentor, and for so much more. You will be deeply missed here, but I'm very glad you will be staying in the area. I'm glad you will still be part of our district, and I wish you all the best as you take on this work in the nonprofit world and serve well the people in Elgin and the community around you, and continue to be a witness for Christ in what you do there. Our prayers will be with you, and blessings for the road ahead.
Hey, Katie. I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate you on the incredible years of ministry you've poured into Highland Avenue. Your work as a pastor has been nothing short of inspiring, and the way that you've led with such heart, wisdom, and that sassy prophetic voice, you've just touched so many lives in ways that words can't fully capture. As you step into this new role as executive director at PADS, I know that while the office and responsibilities may look different, the heart of what you do remains unchanged. You're still carrying out the ministry of Christ, extending love, service, and care to others. You've always had this incredible way of speaking truth and love in ways that stir people and challenge them and make them want to be better. That anointing doesn't stop just because the title changes. You're going to keep showing up with that same fire, that same commitment to bringing light into the world, just now with a whole new set of opportunities and faces to reach. I'm really excited to see where this new chapter takes you, and I know you'll continue to make an incredible impact in ways that only you can. You've been a beacon of light for so many, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. Congratulations again, Katie. You're amazing, and you're going to do amazing things.
Well, hello, Katie, and hello, siblings in Christ at Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren. It's good to be with you. I'm honored to have been asked to leave a few remarks here. I'm sorry I can't be with you directly, but this is happening during what will be the second worship service on a Sunday morning at Zion Lutheran Church, where I'm the pastor. I've known Katie since she arrived in Elgin shortly after she got here. We got to be good colleagues, and I really respect and appreciate the great work you've done. And I appreciate the collegiality with Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren, with things like the soup kettle and the deep commitments that you have to being a partner. We love considering you a partner in Christ, and the welcome and inclusive kind of an atmosphere that you foster in your congregation relates and connects really well with ours. It's not often that I get to say goodbye to somebody and wish you well in your new call, and hello to somebody and welcome you in your new call, all in the same video or same greeting. But you're changing jobs and shifting positions, but I look forward to seeing what the next chapter at Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren brings, and also looking forward to seeing how you elevate things, raise the bar at PADS to do some new and exciting work there as well. So congratulations on your new job. Thank you for the great work you've done, and as you go with Christ and know that Christ goes with you.
And next is Jen Keller from PADS.
Thank you, everybody, for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. I met Katie, officially when Parker was still working at Arabica. But when I think of when I truly met Katie, it was 2 summers ago in the parking lot waiting for the Pride Parade to start. And as I was relatively new to PADS, and this was the first time it was the first Pride Parade, and it was my first time participating, I had experienced, we'll call it intolerance from the community about our participation in the parade. And I'm standing on this hot Saturday morning, and this lovely person walks over and says, "Hi, I'm Katie Shaw Thompson." And I was like, "I know who you are. Why do I know who you are? Oh, I know who you are." And I, without even thinking, because she had this amazing calming presence, I said, "Maybe you can help me, because I think in your role as a pastor, and I know about this beautiful bench in front of your church, maybe you can tell me about how you deal with intolerance when you come across it." And she gave me a most beautiful response and said, "I put love back out into the universe. When someone puts hate out, I just try and put love out." And I was like, "Okay, that's beautiful. Like, I love that. But what happens when they're still not nice?" And this is where her response sealed my love for her for the rest of my life. She put her hand up very calmly and she said, "I just say, these are not the droids you're looking for." And I looked at her and I said, "You use Star Wars?" And then she did what she just did now. She laughed that beautiful, amazing laugh. And I thought, wow, I'm so thrilled that you are about to be a member of our board at PADS. She was just getting ready to join the board. And I told a couple of people this morning, when I got the news that she was joining PADS as our new ED, I ran around my house screaming like a crazy person. My husband thought I had lost my mind. And he's like, what is going on? And I go, "We got Pastor Katie." I'm so sorry that we are ripping her out of your hearts here today. And I've been sitting here through that beautiful worship crying because I'm so sad for you all, but I could not be more proud and honored for her to join our team. She and I talk all the time about being people connectors and how she is rooted deep in this community. She is going to do amazing things for us. And I'm so grateful that you are coming to be with us, Katie. I couldn't be more thrilled. So as a farewell to this beautiful group of people, welcome to PADS Village. I love you.
This is a sing-along, so you are all invited. Thanks, John. For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a great place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we're graders of justice and joy, compassion and peace. And God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. for women and men, a place at the table, reversing roles, deciding to share, with wisdom and grace, dividing the power, the women and men, a system that's fair. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. And God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For gay and for straight, you sing it.
A voice to be heard, a part in the song. The laugh of a child in hands that are wrinkled. For young and for old, the right to be known.
For God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, creation and peace. And God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For just and unjust, a place at the table,
Abuser abused with need to forgive. In anger and hurt, a mindset of mercy. For just and unjust, a new way to live.
for God will delight when we are
Creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice,
justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table. For
without fear and simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, the right to be free.
for God will delight.
We are creators of justice, joy,
Compassion and peace, and God
we are creators of justice,
justice and joy.
and God will delight
When we are creators of justice and joy, creators of peace, and God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Amen. That was awesome.
And now it's time for congregational reflections. We'll see 3 videos of people who taped ahead of time, and then Dan McFadden will be passing the microphone around for people who would like to make comments to Pastor Katie.
Pastor Katie, I remember the day some 9+ years ago that you came to the church as a candidate to be our pastor. We gathered with you in a circle in the fellowship hall. And after the session with you, I was super impressed with you and remember having really good feelings about a future with you as our pastor. And those good feelings have just blossomed through the years of knowing you. I love the quote by Maya Angelou that says, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." When I'm with you, I feel loved, seen, heard, validated, and accepted for me in all my humanness. Thank you, Pastor Katie. And thank you for sharing your generous spirit and your gusty laugh with me, our family, and our church family. I'm so grateful to know you and for your positive presence in my life. I know I'm a better person since knowing you and having the opportunity to learn from you the last 9+ years. And I also know you will take that spirit and your skills of communication, compassion, and connection to your next adventure at PADS and make a positive difference there. I wish you and your family the best and look forward to our paths crossing down the road. Love you, Pastor Katie.
Katie and Parker, we appreciate your service to the Highland Avenue Church over these many number of years, and to say farewell, we're doing it in the best way we know how.
We're giving you a song as you go on your way.
As you go on your way, may God go with you. May God go before you to show you the way. May God go behind you to encourage you, beside you to befriend you, above you to watch over.
Thanks for being our pastor, Pastor Katie. My favorite thing was when I was talking, you always listened in.
Hi, Pastor Katie. Thanks for being our pastor. My favorite thing was when you did children's story.
If there are people who would like to speak, please raise your hand and Dan will pass the microphone.
Good morning, everybody. It's Carol Bailey. I had pretty much given up on religion, and I was sort of checking out churches in Elgin. And I went to a couple. They were really nice. And I went home one day complaining to my daughter. I'm like, you know, I just wish there was a church closer, something I could get into. So my daughter, I think she Googled y'all, and she goes, look at this, Mom. Pastor Katie's right down the hill. To say you changed my life for the better is a very big understatement. Thank you, Pastor Katie. I love you, and I'm going to really miss you. But I'm going to volunteer at PAD, so you can't get rid of me that easy.
Not too long ago, I got to thinking about Pastor Katie and how long she had been here. This is Ruth Peterson, by the way, if anybody doesn't know me. And I thought about the Church of Brethren used to have a thing that about every 7 years, pastors had to move. And I stopped Pastor Katie that Sunday and I said, Katie, you know, just because you've been here a while, you don't have to leave Elgin. And she turned to me and she said, don't worry, I'm not leaving Elgin. the next week she resigned. I just want to leave this thought. Noelle, you mentioned Maya Angelou. She says something I use often in my speeches. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. I believe them about you. You've shown me who you are. And I look forward to you being at PADS. I think you're going to rock this town.
Derek Lesper, hey Pastor Katie. I remember just 2 and some years ago when I first came to Highland, I was so scared thinking that God had left me and I just was on my own. Came here, met you. Since then, I've regained that knowing God's in my life. So thank you so much for being our pastor, being the dual pastor for years and my pastor for 2 years. Thank you very much.
I'm Josh Brockway. Highland Avenue is an interesting place to come. There's a lot of overlapping things, and it's no better example of when you came to visit after my stroke, and we were talking and you made the pastoral turn in the conversation, and I laughed and I said, "Did you just Tara Hornbecker me?" So many of us have known you for a long time in a variety of overlapping ways. I think coordinating conference worships or preaching at conferences or just being in Kingian trainings together and knowing these things. And you've navigated that with an amazing grace. And now things change again, and all those relationships change in different ways, and I know you'll be fine with it. But 2 things I want to share with you is we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. And I also know now that you're not pastor here, I can say, I know a 14U softball team that's probably going to need another coach. So we can talk later.
Amy Lloyd, and I'm surprised I'm standing up here saying anything. When I met, I hadn't been to church in quite a while, and I decided to call and to talk to the pastor. And I was like, what the heck, she's not here on time? I'm on time. So I wasn't sure what to make of Pastor Katie, but I would come to church, and I'd admit that I'd fallen asleep back here, and she said, that's okay, you're here. That's all that matters. And then things would happen in our family, and she was there for Mom. And it was very much appreciated when Mom had to move out of that house and go through all that stuff and have Pastor Katie there. And then for when I had surgeries, Pastor Katie was there. And when I'm in the hospital and my knee blurts out with blood, Pastor Katie is there. And that was the most traumatizing time for me. And to have somebody else there that I had to rely on, that mattered a lot. So I'm very grateful for everything that Pastor Katie's been around for, and for all the words that she said in the service, because it is true that she applied it to life, and that's where I related to it the most. So thank you, Pastor Katie, for everything, and I wish you well on your journey.
Hi, Paul Bednar. Hi, neighbor. Jean and I are neighbors of the whole family. We look from our kitchen window over to their kitchen window, and we can see what they're cooking, and they can see what we're doing. The kids have refrigerator rights at our house. Parker has garage rights to store things. I even have a key for the house if I need to get in there and go borrow a green pepper or whatever I need. I remember when they first came to town, we had a rental house next door, and Parker and Katie were walking up the block. I couldn't see any car that they came in, but they were walking up the block towards meeting us. And instead of like really being so interested in what the house was all about, they were more interested in making sure that it was walkable to the downtown or walkable to the school or wherever. That was like the most important thing. And as someone said before, that cargo bike did a lot of carrying around of groceries or kids. It also brought Christmas trees at least one time from from the Christmas tree farm. But anyways, hi neighbor.
Pastor Katie, I remember a brief conversation in a car at NYC where we said, I think you'd be a really great fit at Highland Avenue. And then only a few months later, here you were. What a joy. It's also been a joy to work with a pastor who has a deep appreciation for music and musical abilities of your own, and for the flexibility and kind of creativity that we've been able to nurture together here in this congregation. And we appreciate that, and appreciate you singing with the choir when you could, and introducing new music to us to give a try, and helping us along that path. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, as a not-for-profit leader in this community, we're going to be so delighted to have you in that circle, and it is a robust and devout and committed and passionate circle of leaders. And while your specific role is with PADS and homelessness, all of our work intersects to build the kinds of community that you have fostered here and that you will continue to help us foster in Elgin.
Matt Bohr. I've only been given 45 minutes to talk, so I'll keep my comments brief. Over the last 9 years, I have grown to absolutely appreciate Pastor Katie on so many levels. Pastorally, you're okay. You do fine. I also have a tendency to be a little irreverent at times, as some of you may know. And Pastor Katie has met me there repeatedly. And for that, I am eternally grateful for a pastor and a friend who will talk the language that I talk and walk the way I walk, which isn't always straight up, but sometimes it has a limp. And I appreciate that a lot. It meant a lot, it means a lot. And if I call you Pastor Katie in a year, it's just because there's respect in that. Because to me, while Highland Avenue is sending you forward for what it's worth, you have made a difference. And I am grateful. So thank you.
Ruth Thomasek. I wrote 2 things on my card. It was caring and sharing. And I always appreciated being able to share with Katie things as we went through the years. And also, speaking up for Joey, he always enjoyed being young at heart. He's not here today because he's going to a church with his friend. So thank you for everything.
I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on till tomorrow, let it be. Wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. To whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Right, I'm sorry.
So, trying to think about remarks that I want to share on behalf of the board feels a bit cheeky because I haven't shared any of these with any of the board members, but I suspect there's at least one through line in all of it, and it has to do with your laughter. It is a total and completely infectious laugh that you just can't help but want to join in. Thank you, sorry. Wow, I have to stand up really tall. Okay. We're gonna miss your laughter very much. We're gonna miss Katie's coos. Have you noticed? Oh, Pastor, I'm really struggling with the heartbreak of psoriasis. Oh, Pastor, my dog ate the children's message. I can't possibly be worship leader today. When others would be inclined to say, oh, for pity's sake, get a life, Katie can always be counted on with a, We're gonna miss Katie's coos. We're gonna miss the way that you combine an open-hearted and compassionate approach to problem solving with clearly defined boundaries that include what you are responsible for and what you are not. It is an incredibly effective method for dealing with challenging circumstances. We're gonna miss Katie's problem-solving finesse. Similar in nature is Katie's commitment to good process. I know, making sure every relevant issue is examined and every voice is heard is key to a successful outcome, but sometimes that is all so very tedious. And just when I'm tempted to play the executive privilege card, Katie reminds us of the importance of good process. We're going to miss Katie's commitment to good process. But what I think we'll miss most is the way Katie models a non-anxious presence, especially in the midst of anxious times. The core message, as I heard it on your sermon, January 12th, Pastor, Learning to Float, really resonated. We are better able to respond to outer circumstances when we are calm and feel safe, certain of God's presence within. Trusting in God's presence allows us to see the possibilities in times of change and uncertainty. we're going to miss Katie's non-anxious presence. We are certainly presented with the time of change and uncertainty. It would be easy to give in to feelings of anxious despair, but for the certainty of God's presence among us. As Katie sets aside her role as our pastor, we might be tempted to ask, but what will happen to our church? Here is something to think about. Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren has been a congregation for over 125 years. We were the Highland Avenue Church before Katie became our pastor. And while she served as our pastor, a lot of good ministry happened here. And even after Katie is no longer our pastor, we will still be the Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren. And I take great comfort and hope in that fact. So, trusting in the certainty of God's presence among us, blessings upon you, Pastor, as you pick up a new mantle of leadership as PAD's Executive Director. We love you and we will miss you as our pastor. And blessings on the Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren as we move forward to becoming the church that God is calling us to be. Pastor Katie, would you come up and join me on the floor here? And Debbie, if you would also join us. We have some gifts. First, there are a number of folks that wanted to just send their special expressions of appreciation and blessings in cards. And from the board, we kind of figured that as a person of the word, that a book and a pen would probably be very much in order. And so on behalf of the board, it's a pleasure to gift you and hope you remember us as you read and enjoy the pen.
Let's see if I can. From the congregation as a whole, we, through me, participated in this little venture of creating a tapestry. And I want people to see it here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that, it's stuck on my sweater. Okay. It's a weaving that brings the textures and the colors of our congregations, as well as embellished with words that we've collected the last couple weeks from the heart. Thoughts of love and thoughts of your ministry with us. So hopefully you'll cherish that for time to come. And then we also have a little book of all the words that the people brought forth, so you'll know who says what. So it's what we love. Thank you. You want me to take all this stuff? Wow, thank you. That's beautiful.
I just feel like the luckiest person to have known all of you and gotten to be your pastor for 9 years. It's been such a joy and an honor, even when the things we were doing were far from joyful. You have talked about my laugh today, which I think is appropriately called a cackle, and that I inherit very clearly from my paternal grandmother. I think that it came out much more clearly in my life while I served you as your pastor. I believe that You, through our joint ministry and your support for my leadership, gave me a space to grow and become the leader that I am. Through both ease and hardship, we learned and grew together. And I can tell you, I feel more self-assured in the gifts I have to give than I ever have. And I think I owe that to these 9 years and your partnership in ministry. So I will take this laugh with me and share it wherever I go, and know that that joy is in part because of all of you and the love of God that we have known and shared together. I want to say a few words of encouragement to this incredible congregation. I could go on for a long time, and if I had all the time and you didn't have to get to the Super Bowl, I would want to look at each and every one of you and say thank you. And I hope that I do get to do that, since I won't be leaving town, in whatever ways we can over the next lifetime. But let me say just a few things, which would be not to miss how lucky you are to have the children in your midst that you have. If you're part and have seen the wider Church of the Brethren, or even churches like ours in town, you maybe know that this may not be the gaggle of kids you saw up here in the 70s, but this is an incredible number, and such wisdom and joy to share too. Please continue to encourage our young people. I've never been a part of a congregation where seniors in high school and folks who are now beyond that come down and sit with me for the time for the young at heart, and that's also because of you and the love and care that you give to young people. Please keep doing that. I also want to say thank you and encourage you in your music ministry. Wherever you go in the world, you might not find, just so you know, you might not find 100 people who can sit together and sing in 4-part harmony. It's actually kind of special, and it's here. So I, however it happens, encourage you to continue to share that gift among yourselves, and I'm so grateful for the leadership of all of these beautiful musicians here, Jonathan, over the course of the past 9 years, and Will Nolan, and all of the wonderful leaders who've been part of that too. I would also say about your congregation, is Jeff still here? Jeff is the one who really saw, Jeff Jenkins, who's on your pastoral care team. The summer that I went on sabbatical was the first summer Jeff came and hung out with all of you. And what he got to see first was no pastor at all, was instead your incredible gifts for ministry, and the way that you encourage each other in service and leadership and spirit. And you also have this incredibly special gift of leadership among you, from people who have served the wider church to just people who know how to make a good meal and welcome each other in kindness and acceptance and all the gifts in between. You are just incredibly gifted, and I have every confidence that whatever you do next, God will use those gifts to continue spreading community and love and joy. So I hope you lean into that too. I won't come around for a while. That's out of respect for you and respect for the church that you now figure out how to build. But I will be in town, and I will want to say hello when we see each other. And I don't rule out the possibility that once you figure out what your next chapter looks like, that you might see me singing in the soprano section or greeting you with a cup of coffee. I want you to know that even if you don't see me, I do love you so much. And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. This congregation has been a gift to my life and to the life of my family as well. Please continue being you, whether you change these next few lines or not. Please continue to be a place to deepen faith, proclaim peace, embrace community, welcome others, and serve our neighbor in the compassionate spirit of Jesus. I thank God for you. Amen.
When I am gone, don't you cry for me. Don't you pity my sorry soul. What pain might have been will now be past, and my spirit will be whole. I'll be on my way. I'll be on my way. I'll have left my feet of clay upon the ground. I will be glory bound. I'll be on my way. When I am gone, don't you cry for me, don't you pity my sorry soul. What pain might have been will now be past, and my spirit